In the fire and chaos of World War II, the clash of steel became the sound of nations at war. Among the millions of soldiers who fought, 3 tanks rose above the rest, symbols of power, courage, and engineering genius. The Soviet T-34, the American M4 Sherman, and the German Tiger I. 3 machines that shaped the outcome of the greatest conflict in human history. Each was born from a different philosophy, forged under pressure, and remembered for both its triumphs and its flaws. The Soviet T-34. When the T-34 rolled onto the battlefield in 1940, it was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Its sloped armor, a revolutionary design, could deflect shells that would destroy other tanks. Its wide tracks allowed it to glide across the mud and snow of the Eastern Front where German panzers got stuck. And its 76.2mm cannon packed a punch deadly enough to pierce through enemy armor. The T-34 wasn't built for luxury. It was built for survival. Soviet engineers designed it to be simple, fast to repair, and cheap to produce. As factories worked day and night, tens of thousands were built. Over 80,000 T-34s in total, flooding the front lines with unstoppable numbers. Inside, however, life for the crew was brutal. Cramped interiors, poor visibility, and primitive radios made communication nearly impossible. Yet the tank's reliability and raw endurance gave the Red Army a decisive advantage. At Stalingrad, Kursk, and Berlin, the T-34 was there. It didn't just win battles, it carried a nation's will to survive. Brief pause, ambient battlefield fade. The T-34 became more than a machine. It became a legend of resilience. The American M4 Sherman. Across the ocean, the Americans had their own answer, the M4 Sherman. Sleek, mobile, and dependable, the Sherman became the backbone of the Allied armored divisions. It wasn't the heaviest or most powerful tank, but it was reliable, versatile, and everywhere. Equipped with a 75mm gun in early models, the Sherman could take on enemy infantry, fortifications, and lighter vehicles with ease. Later versions were upgraded with 76mm or even 105mm guns, improving their firepower dramatically. Some, like the British Firefly, mounted a deadly 17-pounder gun capable of destroying even the feared Tiger. What truly set the Sherman apart was its mobility and mass production. It was easy to build, easy to fix, and easy to transport. American factories produced more than 50,000 Shermans, ensuring that wherever the Allies fought, from North Africa to Normandy, from Italy to the Pacific, the Sherman was there. Yet the tank was not without flaws. Its armor was relatively thin, and its gasoline engine made it prone to catching fire when hit. Soldiers grimly joked it was a Ronson. It lights every time. But what the Sherman lacked in protection, it made up for in teamwork, mobility, and overwhelming numbers. The Sherman wasn't just a tank. It was a symbol of Allied cooperation, a machine that fought in nearly every theater, under every flag of the free world. The German Tiger I. When the Tiger appeared in 1942, it changed everything. Towering over other tanks, it was a monster of war, heavily armored, intimidating, and deadly accurate. Its 80 medium KWK-36 cannon could destroy an enemy tank from more than 2 kilometers away. No Allied tank could match it head-on. Its armor, up to 120mm thick, made it nearly invincible from the front. Crews inside the Tiger spoke of feeling untouchable as enemy shells simply bounced off. In battle, just one Tiger could hold off entire units, earning it a reputation as the ultimate predator of the battlefield. But the Tiger's brilliance was also its curse. It was complex, slow, and expensive. Each tank required tremendous resources and skilled workers to build, and it often broke down in the field. With only about 1/300 produced, it could never match the industrial scale of the Allies. On the battlefield, the Tiger was king, but it was a fragile king. Fuel-hungry, difficult to repair, and vulnerable to air attacks, it symbolized both Germany's engineering genius and its strategic overreach. To face a Tiger was to face death, but to build one was to doom a nation that could no longer afford perfection. 3 tanks, 3 visions of war. The T-34 fought with endurance and simplicity, the Sherman with mobility and teamwork, the Tiger with power and fear. Each represented its country's soul. In the end, It wasn't the strongest or the most advanced that triumphed. It was the one that could endure, adapt, and outlast. These were not just machines. They were the steel giants of an age that changed humanity forever. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it with your friends and subscribe so you won't miss the next one.